Scary experience here for passengers on this United Airlines flight where the engine malfunctioned, a fire started, and the pilot forced to make an emergency landing. Of course, this was that flight over Denver, and the debris kind of scattered all around. Pretty scary experience. There's about 80% of people in a recent travel survey that found that, well, 80% of people want to travel in the next 6 months. But do situations that just happened here in Colorado hinder you? Do they scare you? Do they make you think, would that happen on the flight that I'm on? Ty is live this morning with someone who can help us overcome our fear of flying. This is brilliant, Ty, because I think there are lots of things in the air that we cannot control.
That is very true, but Captain Ron here, he knows all the answers. He is a retired American Airlines pilot. He's been up in the air 40 years, longer than I've been alive, Captain Ron. Not to age you there, no offense, but that just shows you how much experience you have. He's also a licensed psychologist, a counselor to kind of help folks out with the fear of flying. So my first question, what is the #1 anxiety that you hear from people about flying?
I'm going to give you 3. Takeoff, turbulence, and just being cooped up in the back of that aluminum tube.
So how do you even that seems so difficult to kind of break that anxiety, because those are legitimate fears for some people.
You educate people. #1 is to get them comfortable. You know, there's nothing wrong with them. Everybody thinks I'm the only one and I'm crazy. We have a part of our brain up here that keeps us alive, kept our ancestors alive, and it's like a smoke detector. And it detects a threat. Doesn't care whether it's real or imagined, like a smoke detector doesn't know whether it's burnt toast or a raging fire. And so what you have to do is educate them a little bit about that, and then also educate them about fear and flying. Tell them more about aviation. The more you know, the better you do, because now you can put some of those unconscious fears to rest.
Yeah, and it kind of sounds like maybe practice makes perfect in these types of situations. So you kind of have to face your fears, don't you?
That's an excellent point, because most people, they think, I just want to get on the airplane and get through this. And I tell them, no, you want to start before you get on the airplane. And that's hard, because they think, I got to be in the airplane to do that. No, you don't. We can practice beforehand. But practice does make perfect, and perfect practice really makes you perfect.
Now, I've got to bring up this, because we were talking about this over the weekend. I think it's huge news that 777 that took off from Denver headed to Honolulu, and it had that catastrophic engine failure. These types of incidents are so rare, but they get so much exposure. Does that kind of must bring up a lot of anxieties for some flyers as well?
Yeah, it takes the lid off people's fear. People ask me, does that make people afraid to fly? No, they were already afraid. That just lets it all out there, and that was no exception. When that happens, we have a show every Tuesday night, and last night we featured that on the show, which is online, and people can listen to that if they want as well.
Now, that's what I want to bring up next. You offer all sorts of different ways to kind of help people with their classes. You were also saying that you actually do private. If people want to spend the money, you'll fly with them on the plane.
Absolutely, yeah, all over the country. Because for some reason, people don't want to fly into Denver to take my fear of flying course.
There you go.
Yeah, so we've had a program here at the airport since 1987, and right now it's on hiatus because of the pandemic. But we're hoping maybe this fall we'll get to do it again.
But you also have those online shows on Facebook, right? Every Tuesday night.
Every Tuesday night, 6:30 Pacific, because we never change time. 9:30 Eastern time zone, and we have a growing audience there, and they can go online to our facebook.com/fearlessflight, and then they can look at past shows and catch us live if they want to as well.
We were kind of talking before we came live, and I said it must be kind of rewarding for you when you work with some of these individuals who are so fearful of flying, when you get that text message or that email or that call saying, guess what, Captain Ron, I was able to get on a plane and didn't have any fears. What is that like for you?
Yeah, it is exhilarating. I've never ever gone more than a day or so without somebody contacting me by phone, text, or something like that, saying, hey, thanks, I'm flying out, Capt. Ron, and it's all because of you. And I want to remind them it's because of you. You stepped forward. People think it's because it took, oftentimes they've had the problem for an average of 10 years before they seek help, but it's a relatively quick fix, and it's the most gratifying thing that I've done.
That's good to know that it is a quick fix. If there's any folks out there who are fearful flyers, there's hope for you. You also have a book. You can get that. Tell us about your website where they can get all of your information, Captain Ron.
It's www.fearlessflight.com. And go there and get started. I offer a free 15-minute coaching call for anybody, anywhere. And the one thing I want to say is most people, half of the clients that I have, call me within 48 hours of their flight.
and that's too soon?
We get them on.
Oh, you get them on, okay.
We get them on, yeah, absolutely.
All right.
So you can do it. And the main thing is practice, like you suggested.
Practice.
Yeah.
Deep breathing.
Yes.
And maybe a cocktail in the lounge.
Yeah, people do that, yeah. But then that can become a bigger problem than the fears.
That's for another story, isn't it,
another
Captain?
Story, yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. We're going to put all of Captain Ron's information on our website. Just head over to fox10phoenix.com. There's some great tips here so that folks can get out there. I think a lot of folks have been cooped up for that pandemic, and maybe they are like ready to spread their wings, go travel the world like this.